Welcome to WomanCEO, Money Matterz. I am your host, Yasmine Belle, coming to you with over 20 years as a tax accountant, CFO, and financial empowerment coach. This podcast is specially made for you if you are a woman seeking to live a life of intention and purpose while changing your situationship into a relationship with your money. You will learn tips, tools, and practical strategies through the WCEO model to build wealth, confidence, empowerment, and opportunity while making an impact through a wellness mindset. The investment we make today creates the next generation of women leaders, so let's begin. In today's episode, I'm bringing you the intention of self-love, a word that is so loosely used these days, but yet, have we mastered self-love? What is self-love? Is it relative to each of us? When I spoke to a friend of mine and said to her, "This is self-love," she replied with, "Could too much self-love lead to selfishness? Is it though? Selfishness to me is described at doing something for yourself in spite of others in a negative tone. But self-love is when you honor yourself first and also honor other people in a higher consciousness of self." Today, we peel the layers of self-love, and this episode is especially personal to me because once I have learned how to self-love, my whole relationship with money has changed. That's right, ladies, my whole entire view of money changed as well as my bank account. Sounds strange? Not at all. I can tell you from my own personal experience, self-love made a huge impact in my life for the better. Because once I started to value who I was as a whole, I began to value my money. And this was my game changer. Let's break down self-love into 3 parts. First comes inner self-love. Second comes outer self-love. And third comes other self-love. Inner self-love is the mind, the thinking. I like to refer as inner self-love as your core shell. How you speak to yourself, your inner voice. When you meditate, what comes up? Those thoughts are your core shell. But don't worry, I have you covered on how to begin to master inner self-love. So breathe, slow down, and ask yourself, what pushes you forward every day? Who are you at your highest expression? Your wholeness is knowing who you are. The key to self-love is to stay in your light. You have to be the warrior of your light. Your inner intuition is your inner self-love, and that is your highest vibration. Don't be afraid to grow into yourself and be your best self. I began to arm myself with tools in my toolkit. As I gone through challenges in life, I started to attend Tony Robbins seminars and found myself talking to the universe for answers, and that allowed me to tap into my spiritual side. And I also read a lot of books and have the best spiritual teachers such as Esther Hicks, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Dr. Espinoza, Eckhart Tolle, just to name a few. And this journey led me to get to the root of my fundamental core values, as well as my spiritual practice and also the presence I have with my intuition, right? So my inner intuition is my inner voice and how it speaks to me. We know that our brain causes us chemicals that make shit happen. So our thoughts, our belief play a significant role in our life, which can lead to a positive or negative outcome. You have heard the saying, what you seek is seeking you. We cannot have a negative mind and have a positive life. You either are sad or you're grateful. You cannot be both. This is why I practice gratitude every single day without fail. Why? Because I made a commitment to myself that no matter how things get hard in my world, I will never let the inner self get defeated by the outside world. And I will always be grateful for everything in my life, good or bad. And the not so good things, I embrace it. And I call upon the universe to give me strength. And I look at it from a lesson perspective. What have I learned from this experience and how can I be better next go around? So this practice also led me to never live in regret. A friend of mine asked me once, "What is your biggest regret in life?" And I said very confidently, nothing. Because I don't look at life that way. I am the maker of my life. Therefore, every decision that I make comes from an intentional place. And when I make that decision from an intentional place, I live without regret. Now, this is not saying that all my decisions were 100% successful or positive, but my success lies in the lessons that I have learned because it shaped me who I am today. And for that, I am extremely grateful. So I have a few questions for you to reflect on and journal. The first one is, what is your core principle? Second is, what are your non-negotiables? And 3, what are your fundamental core values? Outer self-love is the doing, the body. This is your outer shell. So how are you viewed? And are those values being shined through and aligned with your true inner self? How do you show up for yourself and others? How do you take care of yourself? How do you dress? How do you do your hair and makeup? So your energy plays a significant role in how you are perceived. And when we look at the laws of motion, which is defined by the action we take has an opposite reaction for everything we do, then we're able to see things from a bird's eye view and how everything is correlated with each other. So if your energy is off, you're not being in your flow. And that would put you out of order, out of sync with your true self. And out of sync with flow is basically out of sync with your dreams. The purpose to life is to sync up and align yourself with that dream, with the full life you want to live. When you're synced up with life, you show up, and things that you never even ever dreamed of will show up for you. We all have had some pain or trauma that we've experienced in our life, whether from a young age or an adult, and this pain or trauma can be used as fuel. Shift out of victimhood, of telling yourself, why is this happening to me? And look at the situation as, this is happening for me, not to me. And what is the lesson or blessing in the situation? The aim is not to let fear cripple you, but use that to fuel your body into doing and taking action, and step into a space of uncertainty. During uncertain times, anything is possible. You are the architect of your life, no one else is. Lastly, there's other self-love. The soul, the being. Other self-love is everything around you, your environment. So your relationship you have with others. How is your environment affecting your thoughts, beliefs, life, love? Your environment can be classified as a workplace, your home, your routine, anything that has to do with outside factors. And one of the most self-loving practices we can do for ourselves and others is to serve. So find a way to serve, give back, or volunteer. Martin Luther King said, not everybody can be famous, but everyone can be great, as you can serve by being great. So service is something greater than yourself. And even if it is something little, because something is everything to someone that has nothing. So pay attention to the universe. The universe is happening for you, not to you. Grow yourself into the best version of yourself. And as Oprah mentioned in one of her speeches, she said, surround yourself with people that will fill your cup until it flows over. And then when people say to you, you are so full of yourself, you say, yes, I am. My cup is over. When it's over, you can give it to others and surround yourself with gallon-sized people who can hold it with you. The quality of your life depends on the relationship we have with others. So choose wisely who is in your circle and who you surround yourself with. So take inventory of your environment and reflect on this question. How is your environment affecting your thoughts, your belief, your life, your love, your relationships? Once you have mastered these 3 parts of self-love, or start practicing small moves towards the mastery, watch not only your relationship with money change, but more importantly, your relationship with yourself. These practices need to be intentional, meaningful, and purposeful. We all want to live a full life. So this is my secret sauce, how I turn my situationship with money into a relationship. So take an audit of your life. Your inner self, your outer self, and your other self. Scale from 1 to 10 and rate it by fulfillment. This practice will help you identify where you're at and where you'd like to be. Next, write down one small step that you can take today to ignite your self-love to a more fulfilled you. Who are you at your highest expression? And what does that look like to you? Dive really deep into it and feel it. I'm a deep thinker and a journal note taker, so grab your journal, a pen, a glass of wine, and cozy up by a candle and a fluffy blanket and reflect and embark on your own self-journey and be your game changer. If you're an overachiever and want to take your authentic self to a higher level, ask yourself these fundamental key money questions. I call this the value circle. So it's not about money, but it's about what money represents in our lives, right? So we were all raised differently when it comes to money. We all value money differently, and we all spend money differently. So write down and answer these questions until you have about 5. What is really important to you? And what's the purpose of money in your life? And in the age of information, knowledge is a choice. So choose wisely who you are and how you want to show up. Thank you for letting me share my voice with you. WomanCEO's Money Matterz is brought to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the topics of wealth, confidence, empowerment, and opportunity. If you love this episode and want more content, subscribe to our blog and join our Facebook group at WomanCEO Inc. Remember, live with intention and purpose while igniting the woman CEO in you. Until next time, ciao.